There was this one time in late 2021 when I felt truly hopeless and I hit a rock bottom. You see, it was my last year of primary school and it was a really important one. We had these huge exams coming up and everyone was stressing about it. And back then, I didn't know about the law of going against the majority. And so, when everyone else is panicking, you are bound to do the same if you don't know how to control your emotions. And so, what I started to do was I started to put these exams on a pedestal, like they were above me, like they were this impossible challenge for me to overcome. And my mom knew this. My mom knew that I wasn't really good at Slovakian language, but I was quite decent at math. I wasn't good at Slovakian language, which was like the most important subject in Slovakia. And around this time, I had a head teacher which was really into Slovakian language. And when I say really, I do mean it. Like she knew every single little detail. She was a complete master of the subject. And I don't want to shit on her on anything. Like she was a really good teacher, and if you were to ask her something, she would happily respond to you, of course, and give you a normal answer. But when it came to actually teaching at the subject itself, she had this really screechy voice that just wasn't quite pleasant to listen to. And she also talked very fast, so that whenever you even made a mistake and you wanted to learn from it, like you wanted to hear out her own side, her own argument for why you were wrong, it was impossible for you to pay attention because the way that she would say it, it was like she was just spitting white noise. But besides that, she was personally a really good person. However, she knew that not just me, but my entire class in general was lacking when it came to Slovakian language. Even though she was teaching us it for the past like 5 years, we still mostly got C's on our exams, and she wasn't proud of it. Oh, and I also forgot to mention the fact that she was teaching Slovakian language for 48 years by that point. So yeah, she's a really old veteran. She was even around to teach my parents. Yeah, that's how much life experiences does she have. And so, her logic was that she knew about the fact that if you learn so much of a certain theory, then all you need to do is to just practice and implement it. And so, she gave us so many tests, and she graded all of them. Like we were writing tests basically every single lesson. And sometimes she was even giving us marks for our homework. And of course, when the worst did came, and she gave us a listening, like, she was reading some kind of a text and we had to write it down. And since the Slovakian grammar is one of the hardest in the entire world, I was mostly getting Fs from those listenings, and we were writing them like once per week. And when you also combine this with the fact that it was winter of the same year, when you combine this with all of the stress that everyone was also putting on us, when you combine this with the fact that back then I was quite complex, like I wasn't proud of my voice. I didn't talk like this all of my life and all of my puberty. I mostly just talked like this and no one could ever hear me. Like I just didn't know how to get loud. And plus, I also wanted to grow taller, but this was before I recognized that my height was actually pretty decent. And this was around the same time when I was still grinding out video games and I was watching YouTube for basically the entire time of my free time. During the entire weekends, I would play Minecraft, I would watch random bullshit on YouTube. Yeah. And do you know why? Because it was my only source of fun from my life. And when my mom saw all of the bad grades that I was getting from Slovakian language, she banned me, she forbid me from using my mobile phone and my electronics in general. And so, what did I have left to do? What was supposed to be my source of fun? and my source of a flow state task that would carry me away from this painful existence. You could say that it would be studying, but no. I just knew that at the back of my mind that it was impossible for me to study Slovakian language because whenever I tried, I just failed it and I was hopeless for the first time in my entire life. I just felt like not continuing anymore. One of my favorite outdoor activities is jumping on my trampoline, and since it was cold outside, like the temperature was sometimes in the negatives, I couldn't go and do that. I was just stuck at home, just meditating back on my negative thoughts. I couldn't go on my electronics to stimulate my mind to get some kind of dopamine hit from that. I couldn't study because even though I would study for the Slovakian language, that teacher would throw some kind of test at us that even high schoolers, some people who were like 7 years older than us, would struggle with. And I'm not joking. She would sometimes prepare us for these exams with tests that were meant for fucking high schoolers that were like 5 years older than us. I'm not bullshitting you. But eventually, after like 3 hours, my mom looked at me in pity and she said that, fine, you can grab your mobile phone, but don't overdo it. And so the cycle of pleasure restarted once again. And this is exactly how it was back in that year. Obviously, this story is pretty vast, and I don't have the time in this video to go into every single one of the details. But just know that it was a period on par with COVID lockdown when it came to mental pressure, which I was going through. But eventually, the exams were finished, and I was finally over them. Now the stress was gone, it was finally summer, and I had plenty amount of time to spend on YouTube. So I was free. And I lived like this, in this depressed, anxious state for the next like year until summer of 2023 when I decided to take hold of my desires and to become the best version of myself, to finally carve out a path that would suit me and not suit the other people, to find my mission in life and align it every single second of my life to it. This was around the time when I started to learn about powerful mindsets that I teach you in. And it was around the same time when I started to deeply research mental health. I started to wake up at 5 a.m. I started to discipline myself. I started to exercise in the morning. I started to learn about purpose in life and how to make money online. And finally, for the first time, I felt like alive again. I felt like it was me again and not the education system making a path for me. I was finally breaking through the cycle. But don't get me wrong. If my purpose in life was to like learn Slovakian literature, for example, then of course, I am so confident that if you just gave me 6 months, I could master the Slovakian language and become so good at it that I would be a straight A student when it would come to Slovakian language as a subject. That's how confident I am. But since my purpose in life is for me to teach you how you can improve your mental health, that's why I'm putting so much effort into this. But this video isn't about how you can achieve happiness in the long term. Although, yeah, that is even better than to achieve happiness in the short term through instant gratification activities. I won't teach you that in this video. In this video, I will give you a few tips on how you can become happier instantly, even after watching this video and implementing what I have taught you. I basically mean like today. These are the tips that I desperately needed. And if I knew them all those years back, I could have survived that period way more efficiently and way more easily. In this video, we are not gonna go really deep, like how you can lower your stress levels, how you can overcome anger, although I already have those kinds of videos, so you can check them out if you want. This video is just straight up about happiness and how you can become happier within an instant whenever you feel like it, so that you're motivated to become the best version of yourself, not just for your own sake, but for the sake of others. The first tip that I have for you, and it may sound really cliche and cringe, but trust me, it does actually work if you're confident in the work that you're doing. If you have some kind of purpose in your life that you're working on, some kind of a craft, some kind of a skill that you're putting effort into every single day, this mindset shift will change it forever. You need to realize that your struggles foreshadow your success, meaning that the effort that you put in right now, and when you see no results, eventually success is never linear and it will become a J curve. It will literally curve like the letter J, and the rewards will come at a very specific time that the universe had planned out for you. Maybe it could be like you're working on your physique and you haven't seen any muscle gain in like 3 months, let's say. Well, if you just continue to hold out and to be more disciplined for like the next month, probably, or 2 months, or 3 months, I don't know. What matters the most is that those who can continue without seeing any results are the true winners of the 1% of men, of the 1% of most quality people in the world. If you hold out for just a little longer, the rewards will come. And they will come literally like bundled together. Like suddenly, you will literally just snap your fingers and you will gain like 10 pounds of a muscle gain overnight. So, yeah, success is never linear. Success is never meant to be slow and comfortable, like you have a slow rise to fame. No, no, no. It takes hard effort, mistakes, trials and tribulations before you're truly worthy of having it. Those long term rewards that you're looking for, that you're desiring for all this time, they will eventually come to you, but only as long as you're confident in the craft that you're doing and in the skill that you're learning. And if you're putting effort into it every single day. The second tip that I have for you is to start practicing gratitude journaling. And when I say gratitude journaling, I just mean that whenever you wake up, you write down something that you're grateful for. Like, for example, I am grateful for the Christmas tree because it always adds so much culture and so much positive energy into winter, and it just makes me happier. Suddenly, after putting that thought into the real world, it suddenly becomes true. Your brain recognizes it as just something that exists. It is a opinion. It is a tangible thing that you can touch. And your brain, it believes anything that it can see. So if you just think to yourself that, for example, you love your mom, then of course it is a objective truth. But your brain doesn't actually believe it. But when you actually write it down that I'm grateful for my mom because she just gives me so much love and positive energy that I feel better of myself whenever I hug her, it will become true. And over time, you need to scale this up so much that you're literally walking around with a smile on your face, with no thoughts in your head. That when you look at the clouds on a rainy day, you think to yourself, I'm grateful for them, because otherwise, if clowns didn't exist, the sun would have fried us all. You need to literally think on that deep of a level of gratitude. And over time, this will become like second nature to you. Gratitude will be mastered so much that you'll literally do it subconsciously. And it will be so easier for you to do it in the morning when you have like so many suggestions in your mind that you cannot pick from. And the last tip that I have for you is called a negative visualization. Now, keep in mind, for the first like couple of hours, it may be really brutal for you and it will make you really sad and depressed, probably even a little bit anxious. But trust me, After those like couple of hours, you will feel nothing but gratitude and positive energy. What negative visualizations are is that you imagine the world without something that is making your life the easiest. Like, for example, your dad makes you money so that you can live in a nice house, for example. He's like the main income source of the family. And so, your negative visualization could be something like losing your dad, like he suddenly died in his sleep. And so now you have to sell like all of his gadgets and the accessories that he has in his garage so that you can survive. You need to like move to like a smaller house so that your family can live off financially. For the first like couple of hours, it will be really brutal. And so if your mental health is like really, really bad, then I suggest that you don't do this. This is only for like the people who have been meditating for the past like couple of months, who've been already practicing gratitude journaling for like also a couple of months. It is for like the more advanced people on their self-improvement journey. But if you're confident that you can survive it, then please go for it. It will 100% help you and it will never disappoint you whenever you try it. All you have to do is to just think about the thing that is making your life, that is helping you the most. And then to imagine like the consequences of you losing that thing. So, like we said, you losing your dad in your sleep because he died for some reason, and thinking about the consequences that it would have for your future, and going into so much detail that you literally feel like it is real. And also, I forgot to mention, you need to make yourself really comfortable. It's like you can lie down, but just don't fall asleep, of course. You can just sit down. You need to be relaxed. That is the main point when you're thinking about it. And so, why are we doing this if it brings us so much displeasure in the short term? Well, when you eventually encounter that thing in your daily life, like for example, your dad comes home from work, you feel like giving him the biggest hug in the entire world. And they will just reignite your passion, your love, your interest in that thing for so much longer. Negative visualizations are truly a beautiful activity that you can do from time to time. They will literally bring you pleasure, no matter the circumstances. But I only recommend them if you're quite advanced in your mental health journey. Otherwise, don't do them if your gratitude level isn't that high, and if you're not good at expressing gratitude. If you want to be part of a community full of like minded men who share the same values as you, the same likes and dislikes, the same goals, who are working tirelessly on themselves every single day to become the best version of themselves, who will be in a state of healthy competition with you, and who will take good care of you, like true blood bonded brothers, then you can join our Discord clan in the description. We are working on our mental health every single day, and we will give you the social gratification that you need desperately. So please, join us on the path to greatness and leave the 99% of people behind who are not living but surviving. We are trying to live. So please, live with us and leave the stressed out, the unsuccessful 99% of people behind. But besides that, you can like the video, you can subscribe if you like, and join the email list in the description and get yourself a free ebook about mindfulness. Comment on which part of the video you liked it the most and which part of the video you will implement into your daily life. Don't forget to join the clan, you're still invited, and become a part of the family. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you